No.
Why did you get so offended by me asking? I
I like how offended he got.
I'm gonna have a Senate special investigation into the usage of Mickey Mouse Clubhouse by Senator Sterling.
Leo's the one that literally his name was Mickey.
Angela's like, no,
I have a Senate special investigation into the usage of Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
You mean in a day?
Leo's the one that literally his name was
Angela's All right, I call the Senate back to order, and we will proceed to the next item on the agenda, which is item number 6, the S1123, the Continuity of Justice Act of 2017, drafted by Senator Terrence Walsh. I would like to yield the chair to Senator Caforio, and I request the floor.
The chair recognizes the gentleman.
Thank you. The bill that I presented today is pretty simple. It streamlines our judicial system, in which federal courts always have original jurisdiction that the Supreme Court cannot ignore. All criminal, civil, and even our constitutional cases are meant to start in the lower courts without interference from the Supreme Court. In the past, those in the higher courts have disrespected the proceedings of the system by taking any case that they want, regardless of if it was passed or heard in the lower courts. To ensure that justice carries on regardless of an inactive lower court, I've added a provision that allows Supreme Court justices the opportunity to take cases if no federal court judge has taken them within 24 hours. As a former Chief Justice myself, I feel it's very important for the integrity of our justice system to make sure men of the law don't violate their powers. I ask all members to vote in favor and support this legislation, and
I request. I request.
Senator Caforio, you're the chair.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from New York.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to thank Mr. Walsh for introducing this piece of legislation. I think that it is necessary to make sure that the criminal and civil cases are first handled by the federal courts before appearing before the Supreme Court. I believe that this bill would try to help encourage activity in the federal courts, and I hope my colleagues vote in the affirmative. I yield.
The gentleman yields. Does the chair hear? Does the chair?
I request the floor, Mr. President.
The chair recognizes the gentleman
From North Carolina.
from North Carolina.
Would Senator Walsh be opposed to questions?
I would not.
Does the
I
senator
would.
from Texas oppose?
I do not.
The senator from North Carolina can continue.
While the bill establishes original jurisdiction, does this grant the Supreme Court the pure right to appellate jurisdiction?
It does. It states that all cases that haven't been heard by any courts start in the federal courts, and after that they would go to the Supreme Court if they wish to appeal. But if the court, like I said, if the case is in the docket and it's been there for more than 24 hours, that's when the Supreme Court justice could hear that case, so that, we're not plagued by an inactive lower court.
Right. I yield.
Well, should proceed.
The gentleman
have a-
wishes to proceed. Does the chair hear a second?
Second.
Did the gentleman from New York request?
I motion to make an amendment.
Okay.
Section
Please state the
3,
I check my motion.
Section 3, subsection C, where it says 24 hours, I wish for it to read 36 hours, so it gives them a day and a half.
I wouldn't be opposed to that. So,
Does the chair
is
hear a
anyone?
second?
Yeah. I second.
The chair hears a second. We'll now proceed to a vote on the amendment to Section 3, subsection C, of the Continuity of Justice Act of 2017. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Timothy Kane, how do you vote?
Aye.
Alexander J. Sterling, how do you vote?
Aye.
Oh, Mr. Secretary, just to let you know, this is on an amendment, so you won't fill out the items on the agenda. Just Okay, you can proceed.
Mr. Ruben Caforio, how do you vote on the amendment?
Aye.
Senator Webby 678, how do you vote on the amendment?
Aye.
Senator Terrence Walsh, how do you vote on the amendment?
Aye.
Senator James Woodland, how do you vote on the amendment?
Aye.
Senator Leo 0816, how do you vote on the amendment?
Aye.
Senator Anubis X, absent. Then the amendment passes with a vote of aye on all.
The amendment passes. We will now proceed to a vote if the chair does not hear any other floor requests.
I motion to
Vote on the
proceed.
bill as
Yes, second.
The chair hears a second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on a vote for the Continuity of Justice Act of 2017 as amended.
Senator Timothy Kane, how do you vote?
Aye.
Senator Alexander J. Sterling, how do you vote?
Aye.
Senator Ruben Caforio, how do you vote?
Aye.
Senator Webby 678, how do you vote?
Aye.
Senator Terrence Walsh,
Aye.
Senator James Woodland,
Aye.
Senator Leo 0816,
Aye, Mr. President.
and the item passes with 7 ayes, 0 nays, and 0 abstains.
Mr. President, before we proceed, I'd like to formally nominate Mr. Jones, Spartan P. Jones, to the position of Assistant Secretary of the U.S. Senate, pending a vote.
The chair hears the nomination, and we shall proceed on a vote for
A point of order.
Yes.
your point of order.
Does a nomination not need a second?
From my understanding, I don't believe it does need a second, given that it's not a motion, but rather a nomination by the presiding officer of the chamber, who's charged with assigning a secretary of the Senate.
Very well.
We will proceed on the nomination of Mr. Martin P. Jones for Secretary of the Senate. Mr. Secretary, please
just
call the roll.
Just to
Assistant
clarify,
Secretary,
it's
excuse me.
assistant. Yeah.
Senator Timothy
Mr.
Kane.
Assistant Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Timothy Kane, how do you vote?
Aye.
Senator Alexander J. Sterling,
Echo, echo, echo.
Aye.
Senator Ruben Caforio,
Aye.
Senator Webby 678,
Aye.
Senator Terrence Walsh,
Aye.
Senator James Woodland,
Aye.
Senator Leo 0816,
Aye.
and the nomination passes with 7 ayes, 0 nays, and 0 abstains.
All right. I would
Thank
like to
you.
thank Senator
Secretary.
Caforio for presiding.
I yield the chair to the gentleman from Texas.
Thank you, Mr. Caforio.
Yeehaw.
All right, we will now move on to item number 7, HR 1101, the Sensible Punishment Act, presented by Representative Colton, and the floor is open.
Motion to
I
proceed.
motion to
My
proceed. Second.
We will now vote.
Motion
Secretary.
retracted.
Point of order.
Yes.
I believe Senator Sterling requested floor before a second was reached.
Senator Sterling, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Now, I support this bill for one reason, and because currently committing attempted murder is a greater charge than actually committing murder. That is quite concerning, and this bill fixes that, and that's why we must pass this bill. And then I encourage my fellow senators to go aye. I yield the floor. Motion to proceed.
Second.
Second.
Third.
All right, we will now proceed to a vote, and the secretary will call the roll.
Senator Timothy Kane, how do you vote?
Aye.
Senator Alexander J. Sterling,
Aye.
Senator Ruben Caforio,
Aye.
Senator Webby 678,
Aye.
Senator Terrence Walsh,
Aye.
Senator Leo 0816,
Aye.
Senator Leo. Oh, I apologize. Senator James Woodland,
Aye.
and the amendment passes with 7 ayes, 0 nays, and 0 abstains.
All right, we will now move on to item 8, which is, if I can get it open, HR 1102, the repeal of the Deregulation of Commerce Act, presented by Representative Colton. And the floor is open.
Motion to proceed.
Second.
Second.
We will now proceed to a vote, and the secretary will call the roll.
Senator Timothy Kane,
I'm
Senator Alexander J. Sterling,
Aye.
Senator Ruben Caforio,
Aye.
Senator Webby 678,
Aye.
Senator Terrence Walsh,
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Senator James Woodland,
Aye.
Senator Leo 08176.
I vote
Leo
aye.
0816. Apologies.
Aye.
And the item passes with 7 ayes, 0 nays, and 0 abstains.
All right. We will move on to item number 9, HR 1103, the Election Validation Act, presented by Representative Colton, and the floor is open.
Motion proceed.
proceed. Second. Withdrawn.
Second.
Senator Caforio has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Firstly, I'd like to thank the Speaker for authoring such creative legislation. However, on this particular piece of legislation, I do have my concerns. In Section 1, subsections I through N, states that the United States Senate must confirm these individuals to their said positions.
We're
However, I feel
Senator Caforio, we're on
Go
the
ahead.
Election Validation Act. Not
goodness
this.
gracious. With that, I motion to proceed.
Okay.
Second.
All right. We will now proceed to a vote, and the Secretary will call the roll.
I'm
Aye.
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 Abstain.
Aye.
I vote aye, Mr. President.
Zero nays, and one abstain.
All right. We will now move on to item number 10, HR 1104, the Senate Confirmations Act, presented by Representative Colton. And I have a feeling that Senator Caforio would like the floor.
Motion to.
I have an amendment.
Okay.
I wish to amend Section 1 and add language to sections A, B, C, and D, and E to include both secretary and deputy secretaries.
Does the motion hear a second?
I second the motion.
We will now vote on the amendment
Second.
to HR 1104, and the Secretary will call the roll.
Senator Timothy Kane, Senator Timothy Kane,
This is an amendment, by the way, so you wouldn't do it on the agenda. But yeah, fill a breather. I suppose he abstains.
Senator Alexander J. Sterling,
Aye.
Senator Ruben Caforio,
Aye.
Senator Webby 678,
Aye.
Senator Terrence Walsh,
Aye.
Senator James Woodland,
Hello?
Aye.
We can hear you now.
Senator
You can vote on the motion.
0816,
Aye.
Senator Timothy Kane,
I'm
and the motion for an amendment passes with 7 ayes, 0 nays, and 0 abstains.
All right, and if
I'd
we,
like to
I-
propose
I
an amendment to
request-
the bill.
what was that, Webby?
yes.
I'd like to propose an amendment to the bill.
Okay,
I'd
go
like-
ahead.
To add a section O to include all general and flag grade officers, pay grade 07 plus, to require Senate confirmation.
My second.
Second, no.
We will now vote on the amendment. The
Third.
secretary will call the roll.
Senator Timothy King,
Aye.
Senator Alexander J. Sterling,
Aye.
Senator Ruben Caforio,
Aye.
Senator Webby 678,
Aye.
Senator Terrence Walsh,
Aye.
Senator James Woodland,
Aye.
Senator Leo 0816,
I vote aye.
and the amendment passes with 7 ayes, 0 nays, and 0 abstains.
I have an amendment.
Yes.
It is to my understanding that the sections F and G as well need to have a deputy. Also, aren't assistant U.S. attorneys confirmed by this body as well in the
No.
past? Assistant Commandant of the Marine Corps is as well. And chairman, right?
Vice chairman, yes.
So, I wish to amend the bill to sections F and G to include deputy directors as well as assistant deputies or whatever they're called. Also to include the vice chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, assistant commandant of the Marine Corps, and the vice chiefs of staff of the Army.
Did you say on H you wanted assistant U.S. attorneys?
No, I withdraw assistant U.S. attorneys since we've not done that in the past.
Okay, we will now vote on this, and the secretary will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Yes.
if I may, before we proceed to vote, it's clear that this bill still needs tweaking, and it's with that I motion to send this bill to Government Oversight and Judiciary Committee.
Second.
Ayes.
Yeah.
Second.
Yeah. All right, we will now vote on the motion to send this bill to government and oversight. And the secretary will call the roll.
Senator Timothy King, Senator Alexander J. Sterling,
Aye.
Senator Ruben Caforio,
Aye.
Senator Webby 678,
Aye.
Senator Terrence Walsh,
Aye.
Senator James Woodland,
Aye.
Senator Leo 0816,
I vote aye.
and the motion passes with 7 ayes, 0 nays, and 0 abstains.
Much sorry.
We will now move on to item number 10, which is the Senate conference. Never mind. Senate item number 11.
Senate
S-
item.
S1124, the RAIN Act of 2017, proposed by Senator Ruben Caforio, and the floor is open.
I request
You have the floor.
on S1124, the RAIN Act. Please excuse me. The Reasonable Admission into Nation Act. Firstly, I wanted to come up with a creative name, hence RAIN. And this act is an amended act of something that's passed previously in this chamber. It states that all citizens that are part of NUSA are to be barred permanently that hold office, private, public, or appointed office within Knight Goliath USA. So instead of citizens across the board, it's more so those that are in elected offices or in appointed offices within Knight Goliath USA that are barred from obtaining citizenship and or participating in our electoral processes via public office via public office in our United States. So it's with that I yield and ask that the members of this body ensure the integrity of our elections, ensure the integrity of our Central Intelligence Agency, and furthermore, ensure that the influence that the members of this government wield isn't being compromised by foreign spies. And it's with that I yield and ask that this bill be passed favorably.
I have an amendment. Within where it talks about the preamble of the act, it says that it bars to permanently bar active citizens of Night Galatas USA from acquiring citizenship or employment and within the borders of EUSA that hold private, public, or appointed office or employed within Night Galatas. I wish to amend that to say exorcist intelligence gathering entities.
Could you repeat the amendment?
Yeah.
I apologize. That was
I'd appreciate it.
We're in the preamble where it talks about to permanently bar yada yada yada. Where it says employed within Night Galatas, I wish to amend to change the language to read exorcist, as it wouldn't make sense for us to regulate Night Galatas intelligence agency gatherings entities.
Senator, could you state your amendment more clearly?
Okay, in the preamble of the act, where it talks about to bar permanently active citizens, where it reads, or employed within Night Galatas intelligent gathering agencies, I wish to change the word Night Galatas to exorcist, because it does not make any sense for us to be regulating Night Galatas USA.
Respectfully, Senator, if I may. It's not regulating anyone in Night Galatas USA, but ensuring that our assets
It doesn't make sense to it said, but your preamble says to bar permanently active citizens of Night Galatas USA from acquiring citizenship or employment within the borders of EUSA that hold private, public, or appointed. Never mind, I misread that. I thought it was talking about barring them from offices.
Thank you for your careful consideration of the preamble.
I am such an idiot now.
Oh no, I don't think that way of you, Senator.
You're a very smart
my
man.
motion to concede.
I second it.
All right. So there were no amendments to this bill, right? We're just
No.
All right. The secretary will call the roll on this bill.
Timothy Kane,
I'm
Alexander J. Sterling,
Aye.
Ruben Caforio,
Aye.
Webby 678,
Aye.
Terrence Walsh,
Aye.
James Woodland,
I.
Leo 0816,
I vote aye, Mr. President.
and the item passes with 7 ayes, 0 nays, and 0 abstains.
We will now move on to item number 12, S1125, the Transparency First Act of 2017, proposed by Senator Caforio. The floor is open.
I request the floor.
You have it.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. This act basically is to clarify, the procedure in which a bill is signed into law. I remember Speaker Warren argued, that in Section 2, subsection A, subsection 1, that I wasn't giving the president enough options to communicate his executive action on said bill to the American public. So in Section 2, subsection 1, subsection A, subsection 1, it states that the Speaker of the House and the President of the Senate shall make public that they have passed via congressional shout, United States shout, or congressional group walls, in order to make sure that there's some record of the bill not only passing the chamber, but being reported back favorably from the executive. It's with that I yield and motion to proceed.
second.
All right. The secretary will call the roll.
Timothy Kane,
I'm
Alexander J. Sterling,
Aye.
Ruben Caforio.
Oh, hold on, Martin. I think you have the, I think you have them in the wrong column. I think item 11. I think you forgot to put the votes. Oh, that's why. Okay. Go ahead.
Timothy Kane,
I vote aye.
Alexander J. Sterling,
Aye.
Ruben Caforio,
Aye.
Senator Webby 678,
Aye.
Senator Terrence Walsh,
I vote in favor.
Senator James Woodland. I ask that you remain quiet while I call the vote.
I ask you to stop being so monotone.
Senator James Woodland, Senator James Woodland,
Aye.
Senator Leo 0816,
Aye.
and item number 12 passes with 7 ayes, 0 nays, and 0 abstains.
That took like 2 minutes.
Oh my gosh. All right. We'll now move on to the last item of the agenda. Item 13, the GPS Act 2017, proposed by Senator Caforio. The floor is open.
I request.
You have the floor.
Again, this is an amended version, and I gave the catchy name also. The Government Property Safety Act, GPS, of 2017. This is S1126. Basically says if you take DC and any of the affiliated servers without consent from an authorized developer, a group founder, or chief architect, that you can and will be punished to the extent of the law through a speedy and fair trial. It's with that I yield. Motion to proceed.
I request.
Vote in favor.
Senator Timothy Kane, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to say on the behalf of the people of New York that copying and redistributing DC has become a very big issue within EUSA for a very long time. I would like to thank Senator Caforio for bringing this wonderful piece of legislation to this body. I believe that it is great, and I hope everyone votes for it. And I hope that the House does not reject a piece of common sense legislation which makes it a crime to, steal our DC and sell it or redistribute it. With that, I yield.
I request.
Senator Sterling, you have the floor.
Thank you. I would just like to thank Senator Caforio for introducing such a good piece of legislation. And furthermore, this is a way to stop other USAs from trying to become relevant of our good DC. And no other DC rivals are DC. It's one of the reasons why I even joined USA, this USA in the first place. I also like to thank Senator Caforio for having such a good name for the bills. And finally, I would ask Mr. Jones to stop acting like Siri and actually use his real voice. Thank you. I yield the floor.
I second the motion.
All right, we will now proceed, and the Secretary will call the roll.
Senator Timothy Kane,
Aye.
Senator Alexander J. Sterling,
Hello, Scott.
Senator,
I vote aye.
Senator Ruben Caforio,
Point of order.
What's the point of order?
His name is Senator Caforio.
The Secretary resume calling the roll.
Senator Ruben Caforio,
Mr. Secretary, it's pronounced Caforio. Anyone who understands.
Senator Caforio, your vote.
Senator Ruben Caforio,
Aye.
Senator Webby 678,
Aye.
Senator Terrence Walsh,
Nigga, this bill is pretty swag. I vote in favor.
Senator James Woodland,
Aye.
Senator Leo 0186
I vote aye.
And the bill passes with 7 ayes, 7 nays, and 0 nays and 0 abstains.
Okay, we are now finished with all our bills. Just to remind everybody, before we move into closing statements, that each person will be allotted 1 closing statement each.
Point of order.
Yes.
Point of order.
We are supposed to vote on the creation of a special committee, Mr. President.
You are right. Thank you for reminding me. That's what.
You're welcome.
See, this is why I keep you around, Phil.
This is a horrible pro tempore.
I think that's
alright,
why the people of New York keep him around.
That's true. Okay, can you state your can you make the motion so everybody knows what it is?
Okay, I make a motion to create a special committee on the Central Intelligence Agency to investigate what has been going on recently. I think that was a second, Mr. President.
I second, Coach.
Can I mean, point of inquiry.
I don't know if it's a valid motion, Mr. President.
Point of order.
Okay, go ahead.
Are we allowed to request the floor? Like, are we allowed to have debate on this motion?
Yes, we are.
Am I allowed to request the floor?
No.
You are.
I request the floor then.
You have it.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the senior and the senior senator from New York, aka the Democrat whip, for making this motion because the CIA has done some questionable things in the past few days. And like Senator Kaine was describing to me later this evening, very disturbing race. Vote.
A request.
Senator Kforia, you have the floor.
As much as I appreciate Senator Kaine's diligence in ensuring that the Central Intelligence Agency is within means, both morally and legally, I don't feel as though a committee is necessary to assess this, but rather I'd ask that the senator direct his efforts to start a probe in the government. Not the government. More so the Homeland Security and Intelligence Committee, and allow them to probe the situation, but allow Senator Kaine, given that he is the one spearheading these efforts, allowing him the opportunity to also be informed on those matters.
I would like to address what Senator Kforia said, if I may.
Sure.
The reason why I have motioned to create this committee is because not every senator has the ability to serve on the Homeland Security and Intelligence Agency, and this special committee would allow members not. I believe I said committee. I don't know why that was reiterated. Anyway, this special committee would allow members that do not sit on the Homeland Security and Intelligence Committee to sit on this special committee to probe an inquiry into the CIA. That is why I asked my colleagues to vote in the affirmative.
Mr. President, I second this motion and ask that we proceed with the vote.
Second.
All right. The secretary will call the roll on the creation of the special committee.
Alexander J. Sterling.
Aye.
Timothy Kaine.
Ruben
Ruben Kforia.
I vote in favor of the probe.
Do you vote in favor of the motion?
Indeed.
Webby 678.
Aye.
Terrence Walsh.
Abstain.
James Woodland.
Aye.
Leo 0816.
Yee.
Anubis is absent. The motion passes with 6 ayes, 0 nays, and 1 abstain from a reasonable person.
Okay. First, Philip, can you contact Colton after the session and give him the amendment that we passed to the Senate Confirmations Act so he can change it? And then, well, wait, no, it was sent to committee, so it can be worked on there. So you're the chair of that committee, so just make sure that we have a hearing on that or whatever.
I'd suggest getting not edit access, but the comment access or whatever it is to, or mark out what is requested to be changed.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we'll do that, and then since you're the chair, you can organize, whatever you want to do. So now we will move on to closing statements, and like I said, one statement per person. So use your time wisely. The floor is open.
All right, Quest.
Senator Sterling, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President, my fellow senators. I would like to congratulate my fellow senators for having, once again, a great Senate session. Like Senator Caforio said before, this is probably one of our best Senates in USA history. I'd also like to congratulate the Senate on passing productive legislation and for having a good attendance record so far this term. Additionally, I would also like to commend Speaker Colton for introducing legislation, and at least someone in the House is introducing legislation. I condone all the representatives, including the members of including the members of the GOP House caucus, for not introducing any pieces of legislation. That's clearly disturbing. Now I only believe that one other person in the House has introduced legislation besides Colt, House Majority Leader Jones. But the point still stands that our representatives need to become more active and introduce more legislation, or they'll have or good luck to them getting reelected. Because next term we need to have an active House to introduce legislation and to vote and to correctly vote on Senate bills. I also like to have the House. I also encourage House to fairly consider the Senate bills that have been introduced to me has been passed tonight by the Senate. And also like to thank the Senate for creating a special committee to investigate the CIA. I'd also like to remind the Assistant Secretary of well, last time that we're going to do California.
Okay, here's California.
No, Mr. Jones, if you're gonna act, Martin Putin Jones, if you're gonna act like Syria, at least do it right. And furthermore, I like to thank the members of my caucus or member of my caucus that attended. The minority of the GOP has been productive, has been active, and we've all done our part in the caucus. Like, we've been introducing good legislation, has been a good support there. Dave has been whipping in the House for us on our GOP bills. I've been organizing here. So we've all done our part in the caucus, and this is probably one of the most united caucuses I've ever seen, and the most united caucuses I have led. And if this is Senator Calaforia's last Senate session, Senator Kane, please mute yourself. I like to thank Senator Califorio for being a great member of the minority party and a great friend. Thank you, my fellow senators, and especially Senator Ruben Califorio of Florida. Thank you. I yield the floor.
Am I able to speak now?
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to thank the Senate for having a very productive yet lengthy session on tonight's agenda. It is very encouraging to see that almost all of our bills that have been introduced today have been passed across party lines, and we are not a chamber that is partisan any longer like it has been in the past. So I would like to thank every senator for making that possible. I would like to address a concern that has been brought up within the United States General Chat by our esteemed Assistant Secretary of the Senate and several other members that have called the special committee that I have motioned a joke and other. A very, very productive session tonight, and I look forward to many more in the future. And with that, I would like to say hello.
Hi,
What is my name?
you're Zachary. But since we're friends, I get to call you Hillary Clinton is so fucking awesome that she should be president of the United States forever.
I yield.
Motion adjourned.
Second.
All right.
Wait, retract my second. Senator.
All right. Well, I second, which means at 10:20 Eastern time, the Senate is adjourned.
Thank God I'm out of here.
That was beautiful. Can I just say that?
Ruben, you're supposed to speak.
I'm fucking dying. Look what you.
Thank you for listening in to this Senate session number 4 of our 11th Senate of the United States of America. Please check out the Drama of the Government, link in description below.
Okay.